What up, everybody? It's your boy Gary Lee Lamb, bringing relevant content on life, freedom, and the pursuit of happiness. And today we have Wally P and Erica P to tackle this situation that we are having with our men folk having a very difficult time wanting to deal with our women folk in a situation where men just seems like, what the heck is the point of dealing with these westernized women? How's everybody tonight on the panel? What's everybody doing in the chat?
Good evening and salutations to everybody in the chat. Salutations, Gary Lance. Salutations, Erica P. And yeah, we're gonna definitely see if we could tackle this conversation about, does it pay to pretty much be a good man and the difficulties of being a good man, the results you get for being a good man, because it seems like the good men seem to have it hard, while the trashy men are the ones that are getting the prize, so to speak, I want to say, or winning the
Yeah.
race. That's why they coined the phrase nice guys finish last. So
Yes.
let's see if we could tackle this conversation.
What do you feel about that, Erica?
Okay, so I don't like the bad guys. So for me, I like a good guy. I like somebody who's confident. I like somebody who knows how to be a family person, because that's ideally what you want to look for in a partner. You don't want somebody who want to continue being a man child. You want them to be able to fit the bill. You want to be able to go places and do family stuff. And if you're somebody that's not trying to do that, to me, you're a man child. Compared to
But
being a
here's my thing. We understand that that's your perspective on things. But what
That's a
about
good.
women?
That's a good
Yeah,
statement. There you go.
what about women that friends or whatever the case may be, that they're attracted to the bad guys, and the good guys, they're like, not my cup of tea. Like, what
well,
is it that make that woman want to stay with the bad guy, get the bad results, but still continue down that path?
Well, let's pause that real quick. Let's
Okay.
entertain the guests a little bit. T3 talking trash and truths. Have a great stream, everybody. Let's go. Thank you for the super chat. What up,
Facts.
G? Jip V, what's going on? Live Freedom, what's going on? We got, of course, we got Matters of Opinion. King Refuge, the king is yeah. Who else is in the chitty chat? We had someone from Facebook. Oh, that's you right there. Five Matters of Opinion. I have a clip that I want to show. What up, Suzanne? I want to show this clip, and this is going to give you more of a understanding, or I should say, perspective of what men are actually dealing with trying to be a good father, right? Because a lot of men are doing the very best they can to step up to the plate with these women, because a lot of men, we've seen the statistics, right? And the statistics show that black men tend to do pretty dang good at being fathers when it comes down to all the races in America. yet we get a very bad rap. So I want to show you this clip. Hopefully I got the right one. Let me just make sure. I think it's
Shout out to Suzanne Eckstein. What's going on, mamas? You got it queued up?
well, I have two, so I'm trying to make sure I got the right one. Because there's the short, then there's the actual video. So let me just make.
And it's crazy listening to the short too, because that dude with the short, like he was spot on with a lot of the things that he was saying.
Right. Now he has a lot more to say, and then Toya chimes in after that. Now I'm going to actually upload this video later at another date, but I wanted to show it for the live first because usually I do a premiere, but I said let me do it within the live so we can actually talk about it right after. So let's go with it. Your rock,
man. Only real as a black man, even though I'm kind of high yellow. As a good man, as a good father, I just feel like being a black man, bro, trying to be a good man, trying to be a good father, is not worth it.
Got it. Technical issues.
Yeah, the remember when I was telling you it's storming over here. So maybe.
Yeah. Hopefully it clears up. But if not, I mean, we could just give a breakdown analysis of what he said.
I'm gonna
kind of go from there.
I'm gonna go ahead and try it again.
All right. That's one thing.
Shit that has no positive value to it. It's like it's selective. It's like you can get with someone and they tell you all.
All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you the link and I'm gonna let it I'm gonna allow you to share.
All right,
I do have it uploaded, it's just unlisted. So maybe it'll do better on your end.
Got you.
That I'm bottlenecking because of the storm.
I'm gonna stream it. I'm gonna stream it straight from your short.
No. I got the full video. I'm about to send it to you in that part.
All right, cool. Cool. But yeah, man, like what dude was saying, I definitely want to touch on some of the things that he was saying also because it is it's related. All right, let me share the screen so this way we can have it up and running for everybody in the chat so y'all could see why I go in this piece. All right.
Let's go.
I bet.
I don't know, man. Only real as a black man, even though I'm kind of high yellow. As a good man, as a good father, I just feel like being a black man, bro, trying to be a good man, trying to be a good father, is not worth it. It's not worth it anymore. And I'm not saying go out and be a horrible person or go out and be a deadbeat or no shit like that, but I just feel like the shit not worth it no more. The shit that has no positive value to it. It's like it's selective. It's like you can get with someone and they tell you all the great things about you as a good man and as a good father, but then when they witness the battles that you have to go through that deem you a good man and a good father, they don't want it.
Right.
I mean, they want you to bow out. They want you to do exactly what deadbeat ass motherfuckers do. You feel me? Then it's like when you're trying to be a good father, you're trying to be a good man, and this person knows it because they can't utilize it the way that they want to because the relationship is over. Now you're no longer a good father. Now you never was a good man. Now you never loved your kids.
We've heard this before. Like everything is all good as long as they can still use you. But once you come to your realization of your self-worth, now it's like, oh, it's a problem, and that's what he's talking about.
But like this shit is not worth it, bro. It's not worth it. Because no matter where you turn, no matter what you do, people are always going to tell you to fucking quit. They're going to tell you to bow out. They're going to tell you that it ain't worth it. They're going to tell you, oh, because you're dealing with an ignorant woman, don't put up with that shit. Say fucking kids and her and let her figure it out on her own. Oh, she'll eventually come back around. But what if she doesn't? What if she takes my kids and I never see my kids for years? But see, the problem is that nobody really realizes the pain and the turmoil a good man and good father goes through, because all you motherfuckers are just used to shitty ass men who get up every day and don't give a fuck about their own offspring. They don't give a fuck about how they live their life every day. And that's the fucking problem. Being a good man is something that as black men, we shouldn't even inspire to, bro. We shouldn't even inspire to be good men, bro, because it's selective. They'll never accept us for the way that we are. They're only going to accept us for the way that they want us to be. They're never going to treat us with the treatment that we deserve as good men and good fathers, because all they know how to do is give shitty ass black men the respect and the fuck leave me alone, situation that we deserve. I don't know no woman that fucks with ignorant ass black men on the level that they fuck the good ones for. I done heard plenty of women tell me that they don't even fuck their baby daddy because he ain't shit, but I done seen multiple women take their good baby daddy through hella things and then still expect us to be good men, still expect us to be good fathers after all of this shit that people take us through every day. And then when you turn around, there's nobody who really truly understands, because everybody tells us we shouldn't do.
There's the F-bombs for me. It makes it difficult to digest. But I hear his pain here. Yeah, he's looking for answers to me. And I know we've said it many times, like, leave that girl alone. But he's in the situation, and in his mind it's probably like, well, I can't just cut her off. Even if he knows she ain't good, you know what I mean? She's not worth it. But he has to play the part, so to speak, because these women, there's so many vindictive women. When we know better, we do better. But the repercussions he's dealing with is the version of himself that didn't know better. And now this is what his life is like. I feel really bad for him and for men like him. But it's you who you have to be good with at the end of the day, and not what these vindictive, evil-spirited women try to paint the picture of.
Let's get into the topic. Now, how do you feel about that? Now that you've seen the whole thing, and shout out to King Fortune. He's on TikTok. I'm not sure if he has a YouTube channel, but I will put a link of his channel in the description if he has a YouTube channel. If not, it's King Fortune in TikTok. But now you had the full hit. Okay, and I already have my opinion around it, but I want to hear yours.
All right, so I'll go ahead and start. I feel sorry for him. I do, because I'm starting to realize that the younger generation of women really are not looking for the same qualities in a mate that somebody in their 30s or 40s or 50s or 60s are looking for. They're just not. I feel like they're valuing the wrong type of stuff. And because they're valuing the wrong type of stuff, it's starting to translate into the guys. It's starting to translate over to the families that they're building, because a lot of times it's a broken family.
Yeah.
Because if you listen to the way that he was talking, you could tell he wasn't with the baby mother no more. He's trying to date other people who, if you don't have kids, they're not going to understand what he's going through. So they look at his qualities and be like, those are really good qualities. But then when they really into it, they're almost competing with the child instead of trying to foster a family. But you also don't know what the other outside circumstances are. You don't know if the baby mother don't want the new person around. You don't know how much of a problem she's causing on one side either. And I think that's the other issue. People are so used to the guy just bowing out, but when they don't bow out, they don't know how to deal. Because a lot of times,
Right. Well, how can they possibly know how to deal in that situation? It's not like we have a support group around it.
Well, and that's the other thing. I feel like more men have to start talking to other men to see what they're doing to foster healthy co-parenting relationships. If they don't
Right.
have that healthy balance, you can't move on to the next situation. And the reason for that is usually when somebody's coming into that situation, they're going to ask you to try to outline as much as possible. And a lot of
Hmm.
times people don't know what they're outlining. So because they don't know what they're outlining, a lot of times it'll be that internal struggle where you're dealing with the new mate and you don't know how to explain how you want to be an active parent, but that you also want to show them priority. And I feel like people want that instant gratification. A lot of times people don't want to take the time to figure out where they fit in that family dynamic.
Right.
But you
What
also have to
about you,
think.
Ollie? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Continue. I thought you was done.
No, I was gonna say, but you also have to think you don't know how much information they're giving up front either. Because a lot
What
of
do you
times,
mean?
think about it. If a
Which
if
part? The man or the woman?
I'm gonna say both, and the reason I'm gonna
Okay.
say both is you don't know what the woman is telling him to start dating him, but you also don't
Hmm.
know how much information he's given. Because I'm starting to notice it's a communication lack sometimes when you're
Hmm.
starting to date somebody who has kids. They don't want to introduce them too fast, but they also don't want to tell you too much of the situation up front because they still trying to figure out if they like that person first.
Now you're talking about in a dating situation.
Yes, because he said he doesn't want to be a good man because think about it. He said people
Well,
don't
he.
understand what he's going through. So he's on the dating scene.
Mhm.
And you could also tell the baby mother may be a possible issue.
Well, they tend to be issues. All right. I got another clip. Wally P, you want to say something? Yeah, go ahead and get your mic off mute first because you know how that is. I'm gonna go
All right.
ahead and get this other cue. I'm gonna go
Yeah,
get this other link so we can watch his
got
other
you.
videos. Okay, go ahead.
That's not how I perceived it. I didn't perceive it as a dating thing. I perceived it as this guy wants his kids into or to be active in his kids' life, and
Mhm.
his baby mother is a stumbling block and playing blocker by any means necessary because she's still emotionally attached. And it's the fact that if I can't have you, I'm going to use the children as a weapon, which is why he's.
Mm.
Here's the thing, you're saying it's two sides of the story, but whenever women are telling a story, they usually paint themselves as saints. Men have no problem saying, no, I played a role in doing XYZ. And for this man to show that emotional side and actually take the time to record it, that man is genuinely reaching out. And he's
Mm.
genuinely trying to put a message out there like, yo, when the going gets tough, especially when it comes to your children, don't give up. I know you want to give up, but don't give up on the situation. And that's the thing. As a father that wants to do good by their children, I know this man is hurting because when it comes to a situation of you not being with your children and you want to be with your children, especially like I can reflect on me being in a situation with my kids don't live home with me, right? So
Mhm.
in the summer times, the kids are here. After that, they're with their mom. And that is like a painful thing for the kids to actually leave and spend whatever time. Now I get that dynamic of it, but as a good dad, you don't want to be away from your kids.
Right.
So this man really don't want to be away from his kids. He want to, play ball where they split the custody, so to speak. But she's playing blocker and it's pissing him off to the point where it's like, well, damn, I might as well just hang it up because you're not allowing me to spend time with my kids the way that I want to. And this is the advice that I would give to men that are in these type of situations that are toxic because the woman is emotionally involved. I hate to say it, but Go to court. Get a free consultation. With a lawyer.
See, okay, so now this is when I gotta
Yeah.
jump in, okay? Because you're
Okay.
saying go to court, right?
Yes.
And this is usually the what is it? The next level. Everyone says just go to court, just go to court, just go to court. You have any idea how hard that is?
That's why I said get a free consultation from a lawyer. Because here's my thing. If I don't have a recourse and she basically has full custody of the children and I'm fighting tooth and nails to fight for my kids, if I'm already trying to fight tooth and nail for my kids, why not go to court where there can be some kind of mitigation where now she's obligated? There is no I run the show. You're obligated now to give me my fair share. And if you're not doing your diligence as a mother, guess what? I could wind up getting full custody, especially if I'm doing my part of trying to be a good father to these kids.
Go ahead and cue up that beautiful being footage I just sent you in the private chat.
Got you. Let me share the screen. I had to click the link. All right. Here we go. You sharing it?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
You gonna give me my baby or not? I can put my own child in the car. Don't touch my car. Give me my baby so I can do it.
You're making a big deal in front of
When you
her.
give me my baby, you can go. I am grown. Don't touch my car, man. Don't touch my car. Oh, stop.
Now you're touching and jealous.
Shout
say
out
that
to
on
the
camera?
strategic
All
guys.
Now she don't want to give me my baby. I drove up here
You
for 2
pushed
hours
me.
and she don't want to give me my child.
There's no car seat in
Yes,
there.
it is a car seat in there, man. Car seat right there.
Let me put her in.
No. Give me my baby so I can go. You don't need to be in my car.
I
It's a
said I
car
was gonna
seat
fuck
in there.
with her. Now you're
No,
yelling.
I'm not yelling. I want you to give me my
It's not
child
a
so I
big
can
deal.
go
You're
home.
screaming at me in
I'm
front
not
of her.
screaming, but I just want my child so I can go home. Well,
She
get in the
asked me
car.
to put her in.
No, she did not.
Sophia,
Come on, man. I ain't got time to be playing with you. Well, I'm trying to
this
go
is
home.
not a game. It's
Well,
not
give me
that
my
big
baby
of a
so I can
deal.
leave.
All right, now you're making her upset.
All right, you got all this on camera? We will be showing it to the judge when we get my baby.
Okay, Rodney. You've been saying that for years.
Okay, and I give me 10 days. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. So you're not gonna give me my baby?
It's not a big deal. for
Are
you
you
to
gonna
put
give
her
me
in
my
the
baby or not,
car.
Melissa?
You cannot.
Are you
scream
gonna
at
give
in
me?
front
Can I
of
see my
her.
child?
Yes.
Okay, well give her
Stop
to me so I can go
screaming at me.
home. I'm not screaming at you, but you're playing games. and I
No,
don't
I'm
feel
not
like
playing
with
games.
you.
I tried to open the door and you pushed me.
I didn't push you.
Yes,
It's
you
on
did.
camera. If they
It
think
is
I
on
pushed you, it's on
camera.
camera. But can I have my child so I can go home? I don't want to keep going back and forth with you. I don't. I'm tired of doing this. You're always
It's
doing the
not back
most.
and
What
forth.
can I do?
I just tried to put her
You
in.
give her to me so I can go.
Don't push me.
I'm not pushing you. Just give
Sophia,
me
can
my
I put her
child.
in the car? Come on.
You give it to me so I can go, man. You ain't got to do this.
I'm not doing anything
Come on,
wrong.
Sophia.
Now notice how she immediately picks her up.
Oh, bro, that's final. That's not happening. I don't want you in my car. I don't
I'm
trust
not
you.
getting in
I do
the
not
car.
trust. I don't
What
want
am I
you in my
gonna do
car.
in the car?
Nothing. I just don't want you on it. I want you to touch her. I know how you are.
That's a baby seat.
That's not a baby seat. That's a
Okay,
car
then
seat.
let me in.
No, you can get in your
Rodney,
car and
this is
leave.
not a big deal.
Are you gonna give me my child or not? Give it to me right now so I can
It's not a
go.
big deal.
I'm not gonna keep doing this with you, bro.
I'm not doing anything. All I did
Well,
was
get in your
open the
car and
door.
go home.
You pushed
What are you
me.
doing? No,
All I
it's-
did was try to put her in the car
oh,
because
give me
she's
my child so I
crying.
can go, Melissa.
Now, I know this is a very difficult situation for many men who have to go through this. And thank God I've never had to experience this. So I do not really know the exact emotional frustration this man or men like him has gone through trying to deal with a mother who is clearly using the children as pawns so she can feel more powerful over the man. But I have to ask the question, why was it such a problem for allowing her to put the kid in the car seat? Okay. You're causing the daughter trauma that is unnecessary. I get it. You don't trust her. You don't want her in your car. I get all of that. but the goal is to get the child in the car. Why does it matter who puts the child in the car? If that's what she wants to do, if that's what's going to make it easier for you to get back in your car and drive off, then so be it. You can watch her while she's putting the child in the car.
I already got an answer to
Men,
this.
we have to go.
See, here's the thing. This is why women are winning, because of that right there. Learn to take the high road. Women are winning because women are cutthroats. When it comes to going to court, whether it's for divorce or child custody, us men will sit there and be like, well, that is my child's mom. So, you don't want to get the full extent of the possibilities, because we're still genuinely looking at it as, that's my child's mother. I don't want to, put too much distress on her, so to speak. Women, on the other hand, they don't play that. They want everything. They going for the jugular. Why would this man take the high road? You record it, you show what's going on. Now you go back to court and you have a fighting argument saying, yo, Your Honor, this is why I want custody of my child. If the shoe was on the other foot, this would not be an issue. It's here. Take the child, do what you got to do. Why is it that you have to put this? Why is it that I have to subject myself to this woman trying to do this power struggle or flex her power for my child? And this is the time I'm supposed to have custody for my child. She should have absolutely nothing to do with the equation. Hey, it's my time, hand me my child, and that's that. Why is she holding the child against me, Your Honor, on the strength of she wants to put the child in the car, and the whole time she's able to do this when she has the child on her custody? That high road is exactly why us men are losing. We need to put our foot down and be like, no, we're not taking this. And every action you do, just like he was doing, record it, take that mother effer to court. This is my ammunition, Your Honor.
I got a rebuttal for that too. Just to add,
Please
it's not
go.
always just
I
take
love
it to
to
court.
hear what you got to say. Go.
If he has a custody order, he also needs to go to the police station, file a report. The reason is the recording ain't gonna do nothing in court if he's not doing the follow-up work. So that is one tidbit I will tell any person that is going through a custody issue, because at that point, if I'm supposed to get this kid every Friday through Sunday afternoon, and you do not give me this kid every Friday to Sunday afternoon, that means the parent who's not getting that child needs to file a report. At that point, you have a record. So when you start going back and forth to custody court, you're like, hey, I got all my ducks in a row. Here's the video of her saying that I touched her when I didn't. Here's the video where she was holding this child. So to me, it's almost as if she didn't have a plan to give me the child to begin with. And she was using it as almost like a hostage situation. Because
That's
my
what it
thing
looked
is,
like to me.
you keep telling me you want to see the car seat. If I told you I have everything that I need to take the child with me, that means I got it. He opened up the door to show, hey, there's a car seat in there, and he closed it right back. That's more than what he should have had to do to begin with. Because think about it. If I'm legally the parent, that means whatever happens in my custody is what happens in my custody. So I don't have to get your permission to do what I want with our child. Thanks. That was the only thing I had on that situation. But she was in the wrong.
Shout out to Rex Wu. What's up, kid?
Now, noticing what everyone is saying when it comes down to this, right? Everyone's saying that we're all focusing on what he should do, because we already know that she's being vindictive. She's not being cooperative, which is what many women do when they get stuck in that loop. When they get stuck in that, I'm angry and I'm frustrated and I'm doing everything I can to pay him back, which whatever goes on in a woman's mind, I can't pretend to know, right? Whatever that loop is, it doesn't matter. Now, notice she was saying you're raising your voice. He was not raising his voice. Was he Agitated? Yes. Why wouldn't he be?
Of
Right?
course.
That,
That's
why
natural.
wouldn't
Yeah.
he be?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But he was not raising his voice. He was doing everything in his power to just give me my baby so I can go. That was his whole thing. Now, so people are saying that they knew what was going on in the big scenes. Like some people are saying that he had a new girl in the car. Some people saying that she had contraband that she tried to put in his car previously. I don't know if it's true or not. I'm all I'm saying is that these are possibilities of why he didn't want her in the car, because
Which are
it
good
seems like this.
reasons.
Right. It seems like this would be an
Mhm.
excellent reason, but you can record that as well, right? Right. So what I want to know, and maybe we can get an answer out of the chat. What I want to know is, can she refuse based upon what she feel is safe or not safe from giving him the child?
Now,
If it's a
while
custody order, she cannot refuse. So if he went and got the full custody order, that is not a refusal at this point. Because what he could say is, hey, she refused. And on that end, that's him going to court going, hey, I got my order in. So if she decides later on in life she wants an increase, no, I'm not giving you an increase because you got more time. Because a lot of times in those custody situations, they line it out and it's like, hey, this is what you do, this is what she do. And the other thing too is a cop needs to be involved. So if she thinks that the situation is bad, see,
Yep.
look, there you
Yeah,
go.
procedure. Yeah.
I'm about to say that
Yeah,
she had to call the cop and say something.
because you know why? Because if she just can go straight up of saying, "Oh, I want to put the child in the car, you're raising my voice, this, that, and the third," that's just her opinion. So what is to stop her if he walks to her house to pick up his child and she's like, "Oh, I don't feel you walking home with our daughter is a safe environment for her." That means you could start now using that excuse for any little thing at your discretion, just as a means to
Right.
deter, just as a means to defer him from, spending time with his child. And another thing that I know you said too was in the video was how it can psychologically affect the child. But I could look at it in another aspect too. That can be a teaching moment for that dad to be like, yo, this is why in situations like this, you should not, like, you should find other means of coming to a resolution. As you see, this dialogue that me and your mother had, it's not healthy. All it's doing is making it more difficult for me to see you. So,
I
baby, what
agree.
I want you to do in the future, if you ever run into this, number one, this is why you should wait till you get married to actually have a child. So at least there's some commitment. At least you built built something with that man. You're under the same roof, the whole nine, and you have some type of commitment or whatever. Like, it's so many levels that you can instill into that child just from that experience. You
Listen,
feel
Wally,
me?
you are spot on because I love teachable moments. I always use
Yes.
them every time, whether it is a positive or negative.
Hmm.
I do my very best to turning into a positive for my children. Look,
Yeah.
this is what you don't do. This is how you deal with this. How this is a better way we could have handled this. Yada yada, whatever. I'm not gonna say
Hmm.
I can't steal your yada yada yada. But shout out to Rumble. Thank you guys for being a part of the live. Thank you. But I want to go to what Robin said, but I think that
Okay.
was a very good question. Why didn't he just send someone else to get the child?
Okay, so I'm gonna throw this out there. One, that's not that person's responsibility. My child, my responsibility.
Mm,
The only time that you
mm,
have to do that is in the event it is in the court order. Because remember,
Yes.
you do
mm.
have some orders where you have to be in a public place. Like they could be as detailed as they want it to be, but it also has to be somebody that's on record. So let's
Hmm.
say
Hmm.
grandma is the pickup person. That means
Hmm.
every time grandma and mom have to meet up so dad can get them. That is a thing that can be done. But like I
Hmm.
said, a lot of times those have to be what's in writing. Because if the court order says dad gets, that means dad needs to figure out how to get there. Because that's some of those gray areas that some of those moms be trying to use sometimes too.
Hmm.
So, yep, he shouldn't have. See, Me and Trash.
Yeah, he
Me and
shouldn't
talking
have to do that, nor should
Trash.
he have to contend the way he's contending. Right? But we
Correct.
already know we're dealing with a person that is not, acting irrationally. So unfortunately, that's where we're at with it, right? So let's get
Mhm.
back to what you were saying.
So, and that's what I was gonna say. A lot of times, you got to figure out what the order is. You have to figure out what you're
Mhm.
comfortable with. I know people who got to go to the police station that have to change custody of kid at the police station. Why? Because both parents at a time or two had issues with
Mhm.
drop off. That was the
Mm.
easiest way for it to be smooth. Because if something
Right.
pop off, the cop is right there looking at you.
And
Oh my
here's
God.
another
See,
here's
go ahead,
another
Wally.
thing. Here's another thing just to add to. I understand like there can be mother and father dynamics where you literally have an understanding and it's not a toxic situation. So you make adjustments accordingly. That I'm all for 100% because it's like we're adults, we know how to speak and find a happy medium. That I understand. But in this situation where it seemed like they have a court order in place, the minute that person start trying to remix that court order to do XYZ, report it. Because what
I
happens is
agree.
when remixes start happening and you start letting it go by this, that, and the third, now when you go to court for whatever case, that can be a hindrance. Because it's like, why y'all making adjustments to the court order, whatever. So now it's gonna make it difficult for you going forward to have these rules and stuff applied. Because the judge is like,
Mm.
yo, well, y'all making up your own rules. What's to stop y'all from doing that again?
Correct. So
Right.
I'm an advocate for rules is rules. If they need to be changed, you go to
Go to
court,
court.
get a
Yep.
new court date, and update it.
Yep.
Mm.
But if you're trying to get custody of your child, definitely like that situation right there, I'd have been like, all right, have at it. Next thing you know, you getting a letter from the court saying you got to report to child custody court
Well,
because I'm reporting that.
I've been talking to quite a few fathers who are
Mm-hmm.
dealing with these kind of issues, and
Yeah.
I was actually considering doing something like real, community like, right, where we get
Mhm.
like a fund or something going on
Yeah.
because lawyers are cheap. We can get some type of fund, like a father's fund, and start helping these men fight for custody for their child, right? Like I don't care why their relationship broke up, right? But if he can prove that the mother is being difficult, but he's having a hard time getting any traction because we're in a depression, right? We're in a recession right now, so
Mhm.
financially you're stuck. And we already see that single mothers, and no disrespect to single mothers that are doing their job, but for those single mothers out there that are not doing their job, they're producing very difficult citizens in our country.
Yes. Oh,
And
yes.
statistically speaking,
Statistically.
and I'm that one, um, men tend to be better parents, single parents. It's statistically speaking, that is the case. So we've had more than enough time to give women the time to show if they can handle the job on their own, and it seems like they cannot. Based on the stats, it doesn't seem like they can. So in the future, I might be bringing something up where we can go ahead and support these fathers a little bit better, because as a society, we need to help raise our children. It's
Mhm.
and here's the thing: there's a lot of mothers arguing and complaining about, well, why don't we just have, because they have this whole share your husband crap going on now. Have you heard that, Wally? Have you
No,
heard
I haven't. Wow.
the that this? Yeah, so they're starting to say, why don't you share your husband? I'm gonna go and find the clips for you so you can see this crap. It's insane. But it was I watched this and I was in awe. But instead of sharing your husband give the child to the father, right? You don't have to worry about that. So, what is your thoughts on that?
I know the share your husband thing would have probably came up as a conversation, so to speak, like because women, there's more women in the world than men,
Mm-hmm.
which means that at the end of the day, not every woman is gonna get married. Not every woman is gonna have a mate. Like that's just how it is. The numbers don't lie, pretty much. So I remember I think we did a podcast before on, should should men be able to marry, multiple women, like a polygamous life, whatever, because there's not enough men to go around for women. So that it's not a far-fetched concept that I see women probably throwing this around now, or even if it was a man throwing it around, I get it. But that's just gonna run into a slew of other problems depending on the situation. It could go into many different directions, but that it is what it is. Um, but to answer the question, well, not answer the question, but my thoughts on dads being better parents than moms, it's just the simple fact that kids respond better to dads.
Hmm.
Like
Why do you
the
think
mother
that?
can the our tone, that masculine energy. Like even me as a child, after a while, it got to a point where if my mom's telling me to do something, I'm like, okay, even if you beat me, whatever, I'm gonna bounce back. It's nothing. But if my dad said something, I know I'm gonna get my butt toe up because now it's like, oh, you think you a man? All right, I'm gonna show you how to be a man. I'm gonna show you who runs things in this household.
Hmm.
So as a child, you just have more of a fear of what your dad say because the mother could say something to the child to do it a million times. Soon as dad be like, yo, go do XYZ, they get up quick, fast, in a hurry. I don't know what it is, but like I said, I believe it's that masculine energy. And men we tend to fight more. And when I mean by fight more, I mean if the child is a problem child, women will be like, you know what? I don't know what to do with this child. Like they'll want to give up quicker. Not all women, but the majority of women will want to give up quicker than a man would, as far as like trying to correct a problem child. We have more patience as men to deal with problem childs than women do. That's just my opinion on it.
I have
What's
to
your
agree
take,
with
Erica
that.
P? What's your take, Erica P? From a woman's perspective, do you agree with that or disagree?
Okay, so for me, the norm is not always favoritism to the dad because a lot of times they'll have a reason to escape. You'll be able to escape because of your job. You'll like so I do feel like some of those things for the dad being the one just raising a kid by themselves, eh, I'm on the fence about it. I know it happens every day, just like you have single moms every day. But no, I'm not going to discount one or the other. I feel like both could raise a productive member of this society, but I
Who you
will
think has a higher percentage of raising a more productive child in society, a man or a woman?
neither if they don't have the right support system.
What? we
Wait. Men are known to go through life without a support system and still make it work.
If they want to.
Women, what you mean if they want to?
Meaning if they want to.
How do you think a man build their sexual market value? They're not born with it. Women are. So with a man, when a man, like if you have a couple, right, and financial problems come up, hey, we might lose the house, this, that, and the third. What do you think that man is doing? That man is instantly processing his head. Okay, how many more hours overtime do I got to do at work? what other job can I find on top of that to do? We're problem solvers. Why do you think men play video games, this, that, and the third? Because you fight, you go through the difficulty to get to the next level, and yada yada. Like, men are natural problem solvers. That's why when men and women have conversations, and women be like, I just want you to listen. I don't want you to try and solve my problem. I just want you to be a show, because men are problem solvers. All through life, we go through problems that we must solve to build our sexual market value and our wealth, period, where women are born with it. So if you have something that you're born with, who do you think is going to hone that skill more?
Okay. Everything you said is great, but statistically, who's the one raising most of these kids by themselves?
But
Usually a single woman, right?
If we want to go,
Okay, I agree with that.
If we want to go,
but
go ahead.
The argument is not who's raising more children, because if we go that route, we're going to blow you out the water easily, because we have more data than you can even imagine, proving that women are not really the best at raising children on their own. Even when they do have a support system, they're not good at it, right? So we're showing that there's more men starting to get custody of their children, and they're doing a better job at raising their child.
Okay.
Now, we don't have enough data
like you
to
said,
say
it's
guaranteed, but
correct.
right
And
now,
that's what I was going to say.
you know,
I could find data to prove both ways. And that's the problem with the data. There is always going to be one or the other. Instead of, like I said,
let me just say this. Let me carry on, but I want you to pull up the data that say that women raising single parent, single parents, as far as women.
Hey, Wally P, we still children then. We children.
I know, right? Hey,
I love it. I love it.
Hey, it is what it is. We all have our addictions or whatever, but I want you, Erica.
Not the fact that I have kids that play video games all day long and I'm just a great father. But no. It's just, you know.
Exactly.
But I'm just messing with you. I'm messing with you.
I want you to pull up that data that say that women that raise kids on their own and men that raise kids on their own, the kids that the men raise wind up in the penitentiary or not being productive in life. Is that more so happen with single dads as opposed to single moms? I want to see that.
Well, and that's what I was going to tell you. The data is not going to be there, because the people that answer the surveys and the people that they poll usually aren't the single dads. Because
time out. Paul, you just said you can pull up the data.
Yes, you just.
I didn't say that I'm pulling up. I never said that I was going to pull up the data.
Wait a minute, Wally. Wait a minute, Erica. You said I could pull up the data to show both.
Both, yes.
Meaning
you
I
did
could
say
show
that.
Meaning I could show both scenarios work, but the problem is there is less data for guys because they don't always answer those polls compared to women's data, because women's data is going to come from the state programs. You go on WIC's website, you go all the way to the bottom, you're going to see those polls. You start going to some of the other women's things, they have to answer some of those polls to get resources where the men won't. And because
do you know why though? Because single parent dads don't usually go to the programs. They figure it out by working. Women are the ones that go to the programs because they need that assistance.
Not everybody.
That's the big difference.
No.
But
not everybody.
But on a grand scheme of things, men do not really look for programs like that because they try to figure it out. Whereas women, soon as a woman get a child, they know every program in the book.
No, they don't. No, they don't. What happens is you either
their friends will tell them.
Well, I was gonna
Okay, so but
I'm gonna say it like this: if your friends don't have kids, you will not know. If you don't know people that's on those programs, you will not know. I'm gonna tell you where they find out about the stuff though. when they go in to do them doctor's appointments and they start asking questions. Hey, are you single or married? The minute you say married, they ain't saying nothing else to you. But the minute you say single, that's when you start getting those resources.
The point that I'm trying
But
to
you
make
can
is
get access
yes,
to it.
the men, we don't get that as single parents. We don't go to the doctors and they're like, "Oh, you're a single dad." Well,
Now-
we don't get that. Go ahead, Gary.
But
Now,
you
I will
could,
say
though.
this I was just about to say it, but
Yeah.
that we could. It's not that this is not a sexual issue. It's not like
Yes.
a single father can't get these resources. Men tend to not ask for support. That's just what men do. Women tend to ask a lot more for support, but we got the lovely Lady Lamb up here, and I wanted to know, is there
Yes,
anything
yes,
you would
yes.
like to add to the conversation?
Because we going in tonight.
Yeah, we going hard, bro. We done, and it almost feels like, you know what it feels like. You ain't gonna you ain't just gang up on no Erica.
Yeah.
I'm gonna come in. That's what I
But you
felt.
know what though? But you know what? I like the energy Erica's giving because she like, yo, I'm
coming in
standing
there,
with
she
my
like,
convictions.
yo,
She coming in like,
yo.
I like that. I like that. I like that. We not being hard on you like that. We just we want pushback so that we could get answers. You feel me?
I will
Right.
definitely say Miss Erica P is holding her own out here.
Oh yeah.
Between these two gentlemen up on this live this evening. I was like, I'm just gonna stay in the chat. I'm gonna just view, but y'all know y'all done touched the baby nerve. Y'all done touched the wrong nerve. Y'all done touched
Oh
the kid
God,
nerve.
this baby nerve. We're in trouble now.
We basically baited her in.
I mean, no,
And
it
that's
wasn't
what
a
y'all
bait.
do.
I promise it wasn't bait. It just
That's what y'all
I
do.
promise you ain't listen. I live with this woman. I ain't trying to get in trouble like
I
that. Don't play
know
with me like that.
that's what Gary Lamb do.
I ain't baiting you today. No.
You
Leave
today.
that
So
alone.
that's all
Okay.
me.
This is
So
this
that's
is
all
a-
me. That's all me. That's all me.
Oh yes, that's you. That was all you. You ain't getting me in trouble tonight.
All right, I'll take that. That was all me. That was all
I
me.
don't know.
My bad, Toya. My bad.
I don't know. I think I was listening and the chat is going berserk like Miss I think her name's Rosalind or something like no you didn't and they're still playing video games and no that's not the truth and I mean I'm like this is entertaining. I don't think I'm gonna say nothing. I don't know. I feel like I get where y'all are coming from, guys, because when it comes to men, they're problem solvers and want to fix it first. Like, I'm going to fix it first. And if I have to, then I'll get some help. Like, you going on directions. We got the GPS. We telling you that ain't it. Well, I'm going to find, that's just a natural way. Y'all have to fix it. So, and I agree with Erica, this is what happens because women, I mean, we are the ones that's making the appointments. We're going to the doctors, we're going to the schools. We are out here with these kids. And if we don't know, because there's many women that don't know, specifically, y'all brought up single mothers. A lot of single mothers don't know. It's a huge difference between a mother, let's say, of an older generation and or a wife who is resourceful in that way and can get the information on her own. Single mothers, a lot of them, and don't get me wrong, and y'all in the chat come for me. I really don't care if you do, y'all can come for me, but a lot of single mothers, like they're out here, and there are single mothers that are out here rocking it. I'm not saying they're not. But there are some that don't know. But when they're out in the doctor's offices and all of that, yeah, all you have to do, I'm not really sure. And I'm out here with these kids and let all the women out there find out that she's there with herself by these kids. Oh, you got to go here. I've seen it happen. So I know what I'm talking about. What you need to do, call down here, go and the resources come out the woodwork. So I don't know. I feel like when y'all said about the fathers raising, and I don't have no stats, so don't come for me. The fathers the fathers are the ones that for the most part are better with raising children. Was that single fathers or married fathers first before I ask the question, before I get into that?
No, it's not the fact that I wasn't saying men are better at like statistics, like better at it, so to speak. What I was saying was men when they're single parents, the
Yeah.
children wind up being more successful or productive in life, meaning they
Mhm.
don't wind up in jail.
Mhm.
Statistically, it's a lower percentage that will happen as opposed to single mothers raising kids. So it's not the fact they might be better parent. All I'm saying is the numbers say
Yeah.
the kids, it's less likely they'll end
Yeah.
up in the penitentiary or something
Uh-huh.
as opposed to being raised by a
And
single
and you
mother.
know what? And I gotta say, I cannot disagree on the strength of, especially in today's society, because of the kind of caliber of single woman and excuse me, mother, not woman, single mothers that are coming up these days, today. They are children. They behave like children. They want to be out here. It's hot girl summer. Why are you on vacation and you have 3 kids? I mean, the list goes on. And so I've seen where, it's mind-boggling to me, but it's happening more and more. And I put in the chat, single African American mothers. There are many now that when that, especially if it's a boy, something about the male children, when it's a boy, when they get to a certain age and the testosterone, or if they are a difficult child, because you brought up problem children, if that child is a problem, I've seen mothers sign off their parental rights from this child because she cannot handle this child. I've seen it happen, and more, even if she doesn't sign off, let's say she doesn't go legally, to the court and all of that, she's pushing that child off on somebody. I just can't handle it no more. I can't deal with it no more. And like I said in the chat, that's not Erica P. That ain't me. That's not mothers like us, because we listen to the death. We in there. It don't matter what's going on with my child. And Gary Lamb, he know that. And it's different personalities and stuff like that, because all children are different. But I can't disagree with that. I've seen that. Yeah, I don't know if it's the structure. I don't know if it's like, while you were saying that the child has more fear. And again, it's not fear like terrified. It's a reverential fear. They have a different reverence for their father than the mom. The mom can, I see it, I've seen it. The mom can tell you did great. Oh, because we're always encouraging them, the good mothers. I don't know about, the psycho moms, but the good moms, it's like, you're the number one cheerleader. And, oh, you got this. Let's do this. But thank you, mom. Okay, dad, what you think? But I just told you what I say don't count. And, whatever the critique is, whatever the suggestion is, it's like they take it to the heart. If dad said you did good, oh, I did good. And it's not, I don't know if it's a cultural thing, but I've seen it, in different cultures. It's like when the father steps in the room, there's order. There's a level of respect. And you know what? It should be that way. It should be that way. But yeah, I just want to jump in. I gotta say, statistically speaking, you talking about stats. I ain't got no stats, but I have seen some.
Well, I got some stats for you. You
I know,
talked enough for me to pull up some stats.
I'm gonna mute myself. I know you
So we done got the stats now. Hold
I
up.
done got you some
Whoa.
So,
While you're sharing your screen, you going to share your screen, or you're just going to say them?
I can share a couple of these. Now the problem is, I don't know how trustworthy some of these stats are, because I tried to pull up governmental ones,
right?
But I'm gonna use them as some references. So I pulled up a few of them to pull up some reference. So
Can I just make references on 2 comments that Robin made? The first one she said was single fathers tend to try and find replacement mothers for their children. And the thing I want to say about that is, if you're talking about Pookie and Ray Ray, then I got you there. Just like if I'm talking about Shaquita and Shaniqua, they're looking for a man to take care of their kids, be a father figure to their kids, and basically pay all their bills. So we can do tick for tack all day with this, with that rhetoric. So
we're talking about forbidden word rhetoric.
Yeah, we're talking about a man, like a good woman and a good man. A good woman. We're not talking about the Pookies and the Ray Rays. A good man will do what he has to do and not look for a program to take care of his kids. He'll work, put in the overtime, whatever the case may be, and do what he has to do. And like I said, a good woman, she will do the same thing. But the minute things get rough, she's gonna look for programs to try and subside that.
Okay.
Now, let
You
me
know.
ask
You
you
gotta
this,
stop
Wally.
saying
please. Let
always
me-
you're looking for program
hold-
because a lot of those programs are income contingent.
But
So
here's
what you
the
find,
when I'm saying program, I'm saying like if the going gets tough, you're gonna look for some type of assistance, whether it's WIC or whatever the case may be. And I'm not
And why
saying
shouldn't she?
yeah, and exactly. You're saying it like I'm trying to knock it.
no,
All
no.
I'm saying,
But what
all
I'm
I'm
also
saying is
saying is these are income contingent programs. So if I make
understandable.
50K or better, I'm not getting none of that help
Erica,
anyway.
the point that I'm trying to make is men do not try to look for a handout or help. Men try to figure it out. That's the dynamic that I'm
I
trying to
understand
point
what you're
out.
going through. I understand what you're saying, Wally. But let's
Uh-huh.
go back to what she said. She says single fathers tend to try to find a replacement mother for their kids. And I'm actually on her side because that would
Okay.
be the better dynamic, right? To have, especially if there's a young girl involved, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's certain things dad can't teach can't teach daughter, right? So are you saying that most men will not look for a mother to come in to help support, or because you focused on Pookie and Ray Ray, and last time I checked, Pookie and Ray Ray ain't getting no cussy of their kids because they're
That's
not
true.
taking care of their
That's
kids.
true. That's true.
So why would they be looking for a single mother?
I get what you're saying. I get exactly what you're saying. If that single father is looking for a replacement mother for their kids, technically that's what he should be doing. Just like if you on bad terms with your baby daddy, you should technically be looking for a good man to father those kids so that those kids can grow up in a two-parent dynamic household and get some kind of traditional family going on. So that I know it was perceived to be a jab, but technically that's how it should
seemed
be.
like a left hook, and
Yeah, and
it wasn't a jab. That was a left hook. I was like, oh, that came from nowhere. Where the Pookie and the Ray Ray come from? How are you gonna throw that in there? Like, but go ahead.
But I got a rebuttal for him too. I see that more often than not. If you have a good father who is a single father, women are usually gravitate to him because
Of course.
Because think
That
about
is-
it. The stigma,
that's
a lot of times the stigma
confirmation.
is the mother
like-
got the kids, not the dad. So when you start seeing, hey, dad go to baseball and soccer and swimming and build that rapport with that kid, that's going to gravitate for a new mom to come in the picture.
Facts. Rex Wu, what's up, brother?
What's up, my dudes? What's going on? Miss you guys.
Chilling.
Yeah. If my voice sounds a little fucked up, messed up right now, it's because I'm just getting over COVID. So,
Oh, no.
Oh,
That's-
man.
it happens.
So
Dang.
nasty.
It's okay.
Disgusting.
It's like my fourth time getting it. So like each time I deal with it better and better.
Jeez.
Fourth.
So like
Yeah.
practice makes perfect is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, you keep that over there with you. You keep that with you.
That's the
Yeah,
same.
I'm glad you didn't catch it when I was in your neck of the woods, brother.
Right. So what you got to add up over there, Rex?
Well, the first thing I wanted to say was I love you, Wally, but like you butchered like the video game delivery line.
Yes,
like,
I know.
So that was like so that's like the thing I wanted to address. And the reason I want to address it is because I was the one who actually gave him that metaphor of why men like to play video games and versus versus that women traditionally don't. And
Yeah.
if it's okay with y'all, I'd like to share that right now and
Go
definitely
Go
get
for
your
it.
opinion on this, Gary. So like when he was saying like men play video games, it's not and then I saw people in the chat will say that's because men are boys. Well, the thing about what like the way the video games are constructed is that video games are essentially a gateway into a fantasy, into war, into like complex problem solving. Like if you're playing Minecraft, you're being an engineer, you're building buildings. If you're playing Call of Duty, you're entering into battle. You know, if you're playing Halo, you're shooting aliens, you're fighting wars, you know, and these are things that traditionally have always appealed to the male species more than the female species. Not saying that women can't be engineers or can't fight. Of course they do. There's plenty of examples of that throughout history. Cleopatra, you know, she was a very powerful ruler of Egypt, waged a lot of wars. But there's a lot more Genghis Khans and Napoleon Bonapartes and Adolf Hitlers than there were of Cleopatra. So like when Wally was saying like, you know, like the video games tend to appeal towards men, he was talking about just like the natural like going out to war, solving things like building things, building armies appeals to like the male psyche much more powerful than the female psyche does. Whereas like the female equivalent, if we were to go to like the 21st century equivalent of what technology there is for like females, that appeals to their psyche more than it appeals to men, it's not video games. That would actually be social media in terms of if I were to post a picture of me with me like flexing my muscles, I'm gonna get like 100 likes. But if Erica P were to post a picture on Instagram, like, yo, I look fabulous, 10,000 likes, 852 comments, and you cannot refute that at all. So like, so this just goes to speak about like when it talks about like male female interactions, like what are the ways that like male are evolutionarily engineered to interact? It's through aggression, it's through hyper focus, because when we're in battle, we have to be hyper focused, or we're catching an arrow to the chest, or we're getting mauled by that saber-toothed tiger in the wild, because evolutionarily this brain is the same one that existed 200,000 years ago. So it's trying to solve the same type of problems. So that's what the male brain is trying to solve 24/7. How do I survive? I'm not saying, but then the female brain, how is that organized to survive? I'm not saying this is a universal. This is just like generally speaking. There are exceptions, yes, tons of exceptions, but generally speaking, like the female brain, when it tries to survive, what it does is when the men are off hunting, when they're off trying to find food, when they're off like fighting wars and battles, what they tend to be doing is the women, they have to stick together because they're raising the kids on their own. And if they're going to trust another woman, another human being to look after their kid, they got to really trust them. So the female's intuition of finding someone to trust is way higher than a male's, because if I trust you on the battlefield, you're probably going to die. So I have to rely on myself. Whereas if a woman's going to rely on someone, I trust this person with this human that just popped out of my gut for the last 9 months, you know, like that is tremendously important. That means that woman really trusts that person. So like the woman's sense of surviving the world is different from the men's. So fast forward that to the 21st century, why is it that that the courts give custody to women? Because if you look at evolutionarily, the woman's going to find another man, another woman, another partner, another community to help raise that kid way faster than a man is. Because like you guys were saying, Wally and Gary, yeah, that man, he's going to try to raise a kid on his own. He's going to try to take care of the kid on his own, get the job on his own. What is a woman going to do? Hey, honey, I need help. Can you help me? Yeah, watch my kid on Tuesday. I got to go take care of this, but make sure you watch my kid, you know? So the community building is stronger with women, but the individual enforcement of survival is stronger with men, which is why we need both men and women in the modern day world. And all of that stemmed from video games. So that's what I felt I needed to add.
Yo, I just want to say I appreciate you bringing that information, because that actually does shed light on a lot of stuff.
Yes.
So
yes.
as now that you've brought that on, is it possible that we can do a split type thing? Because okay, Robin did say something to the effect that single parent, two family households are not always the best, right? But we are doing a lot more co-parenting these days, right? Because it's just that much more difficult to cohabitate with one another in 2023. Is it possible that we can do something to the effect of, all right, these are the moral codes we want to set for our child, right? We agree on these moral codes, okay? So for the first, 13 years, you predominantly get the kid. Once he hits 13 or she hits 13, they switch over to me or to something to that effect. What do you see what I'm saying? Because the problem that we start noticing that mothers are having with their sons is when their sons get to a point where her taps don't hurt anymore, right? I don't look at you as the authority figure anymore. I'm starting to look at you just like as you're just my mom. But with dad, saying that, that sharp jab to the chest. Oh yeah, that was yeah. I know who's the authority figure. You know what I'm saying? You are that authority figure. So that's that. So my question is it possible that we can find an equal or even median where that can work, where men don't have to feel like, what's the point?
Well, see, and that's what I was gonna say.
You-
That's the hard part. It's when you start looking at the numbers, it's an unequal playing field. You got 15 million women raising kids by themselves compared to 2 to 4 million, depending on what year you're looking at, because that's the other thing. I found data from 2016. I found some from 2022, and the numbers are still skewed. Now, when you start looking at some of those dynamics, it's like, hey, yes, and more than not, those circumstances are more widowed than anything else. So a lot of times for the males who have the kids full time, they were widowed or something happened to the kid's mom for them to get custody, compared to them choosing one over the other. There, for some reason, it seems like every poll that I pulled up, it's always a split custody. If it's the kid is living 50% of the time with mom, 50% of the time with dad, if mom is still around. The other thing, when you start looking at some of that stuff, matter of fact, I'm gonna try to share my screen because that's what I was trying to see, but I couldn't find a better one. This is from an old census report, but let's see if I can share it and see if it'll pop up for you.
Here's the question that I have while she's looking that up, because I know the comment she made was you do realize that a two-family home is not always a best scenario for a child, right? But if we're looking at that statistically, it's proven that a two-parent household is a better scenario for the child. So then wouldn't that make the thing of the two-parent household not always being the best scenario, wouldn't that make that an outlier? Because it's kind of like I'm better at working with by myself, right? So maybe I can go build a Fortune 500 company, right? But that's an outlier, because if you look through the history of time, like a lot of these companies that were built and became conglomerates came with two people or more working together. So just because I built the Fortune 500 company on my own doesn't mean that, well, it's always better for you to not all the time does a partnership for building a business always works out. Yeah, but my story is basically an outlier as opposed to the norm going by statistics. You get what I'm saying? So does that make is that comment referring to an outlier being the norm, or is that the norm?
Well, see,
Well, this is new, right?
yeah.
This is new. This is new data that's coming up. This is not something that we used to do, right? First of all, the single mother thing is something relatively new as well, right? So
No.
it's
Not with
like
the data.
No.
Not with the
Not
data.
with the data.
No.
Single
no.
mother.
What I'm
data.
talking about,
And
I'm talking about when it comes down to in the last 100 years, not not in the last 50 years, in the last 100 years. We've been on this planet for how long? You know what I'm saying? So as far as modern day lifestyles is concerned, and I could be wrong, but I was under the impression that we were more likely
was.
together.
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
it's more publicized now.
It's more
than it was.
publicized.
That's
It's just
the
more
only- yeah.
publicized.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, like even if you read like the Old Testament, there's still stories of like single mothers trying like that run to Jesus. Well, not Old Testament. Even if you read the New Testament, there's single mothers that run to Jesus for help. So like single mothers has been a thing for literally since biblical times.
Yeah.
So that's nothing new at all.
But with the single
Okay.
mothers, they would always look for that. Like it was easier. Not to say it was easier, but back in the day, what the difference was, even though you was a single mother, the community would chip in to help raise that
Mm.
child.
Mm.
You don't get that.
Sometimes.
You don't get that now. No, back in the day, you would get help. Like, then again, that's in the case if you're like widowed or something like that, because having kids out of marriage was looked down upon.
It was shunned. So
Mhm.
think
It
about it.
was
A lot of
shunned.
times people were
Yeah.
sent away to have
Yeah.
those kids. And then even if think about it, you got a lot of cases where these kids were given up. Like they sent so and so away to a
Oh yeah, you're
church,
right.
a
Mhm.
cover,
Yep.
you know, wherever they would send teen pregnant people, and then they come back like, oh, the summer's over. Oh, you stay with your aunt so and so. Oh, you coming back home? Okay. A lot of times, either the kid was given to another family member to raise, or they were given up for adoption. A lot of times against the parents' will, because they didn't want that shame brought onto their families.
Mhm.
So
Right,
that's the
right.
other thing. It's like now that the world is changing, you no longer have as much of the shame and it's more acceptable.
So
So
I think
because it's more acceptable, that's when you start having these other issues. Now it's like, well, you're comparing apples to oranges, because it's like, for me, if you got 15 million moms and only 3 million dad, you'll never be able to compare it apples to apples, because the data is always going to be skewed and you don't know how many of them are really going to answer those questions.
Well, speaking of data, we have some data that you brought up. Let's go
Ooh.
ahead and
Yes.
give
Before you
you
do,
the string.
Rex, you was about to say something. What was you gonna chime in and say?
I was gonna say that I think the conversation that needs to be had, that everybody seems to be avoiding, even in this conversation, but like these conversations in general, whenever this topic gets
I
brought
ain't
up,
voiding nothing.
is that what are the conditions that are necessary to raise a child conducively? You know, to bring a child to the age of an adult and send that kid off to be their own adult and then take on the world and make the world a better
Absolutely
place.
an amazing question.
And
Mhm.
and that's something that almost never gets, because everyone always asks, can a single mom raise a kid? Can a single dad raise a kid? Can a bad family raise a kid? No, it's the conversation is what is necessary to raise a good kid. And to be frank, like just looking at it just scientifically, evolutionarily, if we look at our closest ancestors, the primates, the father, the big hairy silverback gorilla was always around to protect the rest of the other female gorillas, no matter what, and the female gorillas were there to take care of each other's kids, no matter what. So that tells me that we need three things: we need strong father figure, strong male figure to protect, strong mothers to create community, and a strong community for everything to foster around. So the question is, how in this day and age do we make that happen with the tools that we have?
Well, and see,
Okay, that's an amazing dang question, bro. Like, wow.
yeah.
Go
So
ahead,
think
go
about
ahead.
it though. To raise a kid, what do you really need to do? You got to be able to feed them. You got to be able to clothe them. You like that's the basic necessities. Now, when you start thinking of the other stuff, do they need to have an activity? No. But is it nice to have your kid go participate with other kids their age? Yes.
Mm-mm.
But it's not a need.
Erica, you're hitting the question totally wrong. You're just listening
No,
to
no,
it,
no,
you're
she's
hitting
not.
But I'm hitting it
No,
based
she's
on
not.
my
No, she's
logic.
not.
Okay,
Let her
No,
finish.
she's
Let her
not.
finish. Let her finish.
I will
Okay.
remove, boy.
Because you
No,
can't
I'm dead
say that,
serious. I'm dead. Go ahead.
but
Go
you
ahead.
have to think about it.
You're
though.
gonna have
These-
your time to talk.
These are things that I look at. So it's my opinion, right?
Mhm.
So what you need to raise a kid, like I said, you need food, you need shelter, right? You need that. What is it? Maslow's hierarchy. You need all of that. All of those things got to be met to raise a good kid. And then, like I said, the other stuff is, for me, I think they need participation with other kids. So activities, doesn't matter what the activity is, but I do feel like kids need to interact with other kids because that's how they become social. I also
Yes.
feel like schooling, I don't care if it's the worst schooling, they have to go through school because that is what kids do from kindergarten through 12th grade. You have to have a diploma from somewhere. It don't matter where the diploma is from, but you need that piece of paper. Because guess what? My job as the parent is to make sure your life is a little bit less hard. So if I can
Mhm.
get you through high school, you at least got the building block to start being your own adult. Now, all of the other stuff, do I as a parent need to bring in a 6-figure income? No. All I gotta do is provide you the bare necessities. Everything else, we can figure that out later on in life.
Bare
But I
necessities.
feel like
Remember that you said that, young lady. You said bare
correct, and
necessities.
yes,
Okay.
because I'm not saying everybody has to have 100. They don't have to be 6 figures. But you're asking me to a single parent or not to raise a child. I
Mhm.
do feel like somebody needs to have some kind of compassion for this child because you want to make sure that this child is not going to be mentally scarred. I also feel like that person also needs to be somebody who can be an advocate for that child. Because it's one thing going, I'm mom. It's something different going, hey, my kid has a problem and I could help them help themselves get through those problems. That's the only basic things that I feel like every kid needs to get to adulthood. All of the other stuff can be figured out later. That's the basics.
Okay.
For me.
What do you have to say about that, Wally P?
What you're saying makes absolute sense, but I'm just looking at it from the perspective, if I was a person that just tuned in to hear, like, and I heard the last part of the question was, what are the necessities to raise a child or whatever. Listening to that, I would be saying, okay, if I'm a woman, then I have these things in my mind, then I might as well just go have a kid and keep it pushing. No. On top of all those things, the first thing out of the foundation that you need is the right person to have a child with. Wait to get married to build that connection with that person. This way, at least you build a rapport to have that understanding. There's a reason why it requires two to make a child. Raising a child is not designed for one person to do. Just because you can do it does not mean that is what you're supposed to do.
Mm.
It's like I could live off of bread and water, but is that the way that I'm supposed to live? So we keep having this mindset of thinking, oh, I could do this, so it's not a problem. No, that's not how it was designed. Notice how when Rex broke it down, he said a strong father figure, a woman that took care of raising the child, nurturing the child in a community. He didn't say a woman raising the child and raising the child to do XYZ. No, it was three fundamental dynamics.
Did I specifically say, think about it though, when you cut me off the first time, did I say single or not? All I said was those are the needs a parent.
That is the needs of a parent, but at the end of the day, you still need the basic fundamental before you even think about having a child. Have this conversation with the person you're going to have a child with. Because the easiest thing to do is have a child. But a lot of people don't want to take the responsibilities that come with having a child. I hear talks, well, we had a child, whatever, but I wasn't happy with this person, this, that, and the third, because, did he abuse you? No. Did he mess around on you? No. So because you was in your personal feelings, you wind up being with this person to raise this child. If that ain't the most selfish thing that I heard in my life, I don't know what it is. Because at the end of the day, the minute you decided to lay down and have that child, all your personal wants and needs went bye-bye.
Correct. And
You're
I agree
supposed to
with you
focus
on that.
child. So if we're supposed to be talking about bringing communities back together and promoting marriage and the whole nine, my thing is the first thing you need to do is be very careful with who you decide to have a child with. Because if you careful with who you have a child with, take the time to get to know each other, your wants and needs, be on the same page, and wind up getting married, guess what? Raising that child is going to be a hell of a lot easier with somebody else than on your own.
Yeah.
And for anybody to say, I don't care who it is, anybody in their right or left mind, any task is easier to do with help as opposed to yourself. I don't care what that task is.
Hey, let's
And
go
who-
to let's
and who's
go to
better at
let's
asking
go.
for help,
let's-
men or women.
What's
Oh,
that?
what'd you say, Wild?
And
What'd you say,
and-
Rex?
And I said, who's better at asking for help, men or women?
Oh God, women,
Women
easy,
will ask for
hands
help.
down.
So we need
Hands
the women
down.
to ask for us because we men are stubborn as fudge.
Yeah, you're right. But I'm gonna give Erica P real quick a chance to rebuttal, and then we're gonna go to Latoya.
Yeah. So, like I said, I'm in agreements with you. I'm not choosing single motherhood. That's not my choice. What I will tell you is, yes, do people put themselves in this situation all the time? Wholeheartedly, they do. So the biggest thing for me is, hey, stop. Oh, I like that. I never asked for help. Too stubborn. Yes, people
I
are
love
too
it when
stubborn.
strong women pop up. Like, yeah, I don't ask for nobody help. I do my own thing, and I've been doing my own thing, and I'm going to continue doing my own.
But see, and that's
and
the other thing too, though. Like, people don't always look at, hey, some of these single moms are like the single dads, where they're like, yo, I got a point to prove. I'm gonna do this and try to do the best of my ability because everybody around them is telling them, girl, you need help. Good. So that's the other thing. It's like, hey, you have to think what's best for the kid. And that's my biggest advocate. I advocate for the kids. I don't care about the parents right now. Y'all chose to have that couple minutes of fun.
Oh God, I'm
create this
talk
kid?
slow, brother.
So
Talk slow.
you decided to put in that bid, and people will them 18, no, them kids still in your life 20 and 30 years later too. So once a parent, always a parent, unless there are circumstances that cause you not to be that parent. But yes, you are right. It is up to people to make better decisions with the people that they choose to be with. And yes, I advocate for getting married. Yes, but I also have to know some people don't always go that route. So I do talk to both parties because it doesn't always happen that way.
Right.
If a woman is unable to ask her community for help, something really, really bad happened. Whether it was on the women's side or the community side or whatever. Like, if a woman is unable to use her natural instincts and ask somebody for help, she's in a very terrible situation, and something
will agree with
really
that.
bad happened there.
Yeah, but sometimes
I'm not pointing fingers saying it's her fault or
Yeah.
his fault or wherever. Just that
well,
really bad things happened.
It was a
for her
breakdown
too.
somewhere, clearly. Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
But then think about it too. Sometimes these people really don't have communities,
Which is really bad.
which is really bad. But that is the other thing. People make their own communities, yes. But think about it. If I'm a single mom and I got a kid and my mom is no longer here to help me and my dad's no longer here to help me and grandma and grandpa are no longer here, where do I go? Because my immediate family structure is no longer there. So then it's like, hey, if I don't belong to a church or a community group, that means I'm not going to them either. So you do have a lot of these people that are isolated by themselves. So then that's when they have to start thinking outside the box sometimes. Now I got to go to a mentorship program. Now I got to go to church. Now I got to go to the school to see if there's other people that's in that circumstance like me. And if you're somebody who doesn't like to speak up or ask for help, guess what happens? They don't find out about the stuff.
They
So sometimes it is self-inflicted. So now they're the martyr.
This is
Well,
the
let's go to
only-
Latoya.
Just this last sentence I want to say, and Toya, the floor is yours. I get the point that you made, Erica, where you're like, not everybody think that way. So I'm just giving you know the rundown. When it comes to having a child, my whole thing is if you don't want to get married, now I understand we all made mistakes, whatever, but I'm talking like in hindsight, as through my experience. Don't have a kid until you're married. That's the only advice I can give you. Do not have a child until you're married. Or else you're gonna run into a lot of now. Is it foolproof? No, but it's gonna greaten your chance of running into a lot of goofy things that these single parents be running into.
All right,
So
I'm just
you,
going to say, and I'm gonna bring Toya, and I'm just going to say
yeah,
it real quick. Until the monogamy situation change, you're not going to get women to wait to marriage. I'm just letting you know. All right, love. Let's continue.
Yeah, I'm just listening to y'all. I agree. I agree with actually with everything everyone is saying. It was like compartmentalized and like these different pieces of the puzzle all together, and it's like, okay, there's the kind of like the answer. But I really quick just wanted to make mention of I guess expand on what Erica was saying in the beginning, like, um the natural necessities of the child, which is something that one of our videos in Shahrazad Ali was talking about when it comes to women, especially in African American culture, and this it is an epidemic now. It's become a huge epidemic in the last few generations where it's like, well, I can do it, I got it, I can do it, I got it, I can do it, I got it. And like you were saying, Rex, something has to have happened where it's like, no, I got it. And just this decision not to ask for help, the necessities, okay, food, shelter, all of that, that's maintaining a child, which I agree with Erica on that part. I think my biggest thing was, and I agree with Wally, I agree and it's in the chat, no one's crucifying single mothers, or single fathers for that matter, but I'm talking specifically
exactly.
to women because nobody's doing nothing unless we give it the okay. So at the end of the day, it's our choice who we choose to have these children with. It is vitally important to make a lifelong choice based on who we involve ourselves with. Now, yes, I mean, things happen. Like Wally said, people make mistakes, things happen, of course. But, you have to think longevity. You have to think, okay, my future. If something went down, is this person and myself, do you think we'll be able to co-parent? Do you think just all of these things, if that relationship didn't work out? You don't want to go into it like that. But when you're raising children, you have to look at different scenarios because it's not about y'all. It's about the child. So at the end of the day, I was just going to say that I agree with the upkeep of the child, like, maintaining the child. Yes, Robin, you're correct. Marriage is not always the answer, but having a child by yourself is not the answer either. That's not the choice. That's not that wasn't the goal.
And
That's not the goal.
I'll have a rebuttal to that too, but go on.
Yeah, you see, this is my thing, and Gary and I, Gary and I, we talk about this at length. So listen, this is the panel you might want to bring that to. I'm just letting you know, because at the end of the day, it's not about how you feel about it. Because and this is the thing, and I tell people all the time, like, don't come. I'm not arguing with you. The facts are the facts. These children is what matters. Their future is what matters. It has nothing to do, and like Erica said, you had your minutes of fun. That's up to you. That's what you did. But it's about their future. It's about what happened when you and the dad are not together, and or vice versa. You pick this woman, like in the beginning of this live tonight, he picked this woman, and years later, now he's dealing with the repercussions of his choice. So it is extremely important who we choose to have children with. And the last part I wanted to say is, and this ties into it, because you were asking, Russ, what does it take to have a child? And I agree. You need the strong father figure. You need the nurturing mother that's a teacher, and you need community. All three of those go together. It was never the plan and it doesn't, it's not to say that things don't happen. Yes, they do. But when is going to be the point that we stop making excuses for our choices? It is what it is. We're adults, and maybe you were an adult or whatever the case, but at the end of the day, it's about the child. So the last point I'm gonna make, and I'm gonna come off, was that it has everything to do at the end of the day with who you chose, because you want that child to have an example of the roles that they're going to fulfill in their future. You want them to have a physical, tangible example. And if you can't, and this isn't especially because this is a major topic that we talk about in our culture. Majority is single mothers. It's going to be pop, uncle, somebody at the church, deacon, somebody, a male figure from somewhere needs to be in that position to be a part of the team, because it's a village here. Whatever happened, but it's not about how you feel about it. And I think we get stuck on that in our culture. You and your feelings. It's not about your feelings anymore. It's not about you deciding what you wanted to do about it. This is where we are now. It's about the child. You and him don't get along. Find a way to make it work. If I say if is a big if you got to get the courts involved, then do that. We really want that to be the last result. We want to be adults about it and be able to be amicable. But if we can't, that's what the courts are there for. But it's time out for your feelings, because it's about that child. And we got to deal with these kids out in the street. And I'm telling you right now, my child not getting shot because you didn't know what to do with your child.
Oh,
This is what I'll say. This is what I'll say, because I hear like
that's my
Latoya
woman
was
right there.
saying.
Y'all heard that? That's my woman. Right there.
Like Latoya
That's
was
mine.
saying,
Boy,
in the comment section, it's a lot about feelings, this, that, and the third, about well, my situation, let me ask everybody on the panel a question, right? If you was working at a job, right, and you saved up $50K, so now you say, I'm gonna quit my job and now I'm going to play the lottery. I'm not going to work. I'm gonna play the lottery in hopes of winning the lottery so I never have to work again. For the common person, what do you think you have a better chance of? Continue working that job where you was able to save up $50K, or put your hopes on winning the lottery, which is a minimal percentage?
Yeah, I'm not playing nobody's lottery. To me, that's a waste
Okay.
of
Neither
money.
am I. I don't play that game. But
Okay.
this is a scenario, so let's just go with it.
So check this out. So we're going by the percentage of playing the lottery and winning is very low, as opposed to working a 9-to-5 job or whatever. Your chances of success is higher than winning the lottery.
Correct.
So if we can have that basic fundamental process of understanding this, why can we not understand that statistically it's better to get married and have children under a 2-parent household, as opposed to having children out of marriage? If
I'm
you
gonna
go
jump
by
in real quick.
if you go by the statistics, so when you hear stuff like, well, 2-parent household isn't always the best thing, or this, that, and the third. If you're going by statistics, it may not be the best thing. But if I'm looking at it from a statistical perspective, at the best chance of success, I'm gonna pick the side that I see a better chance of a success rate. That's all I'm saying. So we can throw outliers out there, all of that, but like Toya said, I'm going by the facts, the information that's provided to make a sound decision. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. The percentages didn't work for me. But if I have a better chance going with the better percentage than the lower percentage, I'm picking the higher percentage.
Now that sounds all great and fine, but we already know that we're not talking about people with a full deck here, right? You're not talking about a person with a full deck. You're talking about individuals who tend to be very, very selfish when it comes down to this. They're looking at what they want. Just like Latoya was saying, they're being keep in mind, we started this with a young man saying, what's the point, because of all the things that's going on, trying to be a good man, right? Because how many women use their their power, their influence. Let me say influence. Their influence to control the narrative, right? So, and on top of that, adding on to what Rex said, we're talking about a gorilla who is pretty much overseeing multiple women, not just one, multiple women in a community of gorillas, right?
Mm-hmm.
We don't talk about the fact that monogamy do not work. It just do not work on this type of scale. There are too many women who are going to be single without child. If we go by that, if we go just by what you're saying in a monogamous environment, we go by that, there are going to be too many women sitting there not getting married. So what are they going to do? They're going to opt into single motherhood, just like what is her name?
Ebony K.
What is it? Yeah, she's Ebony. She's there. The women are going to say, "Well, I have the resources, just like you said, Erica. I have the resources to raise a child." All right, because of the way women process raising a child, I have the resources. I can clothe him. I can dress her. I can house them. I could do all these things. I could put them in all these programs and everything like that. I could put them in sports, all that stuff. And they think that's good enough for the child. And we're seeing it is not. It's not good enough for the child. So all of that, with the fact that you have a malicious character who is willing to play the lottery far more times than not. That's my 2 cents on that.
Who's gonna chime in?
You ain't gotta raise your hand, man. What's wrong with you?
Rex said me.
I'm a man who was raised with manners, I guess.
Yeah, you can call that. It sounds goofy, but continue.
All right, so so 2 things. First thing is just because I'm a nerd and I was just curious. So the odds of you winning the lotto are 1 in 360 million, right?
Million.
I mean,
Yep.
you have a 0.000000278% chance of hitting the lotto if you buy 1 ticket. At $50,000, that means 5,000 tickets. Your chances of winning the lotto increase to 0.001389%. So you're just barely better at hitting the lotto, even if you multiply your ticket by 50,000. And by slightly, I mean like a micro deciliter better of hitting the lotto at $50,000.
Before you go on, the reason why I made that such dramatic comparison is because women will have that dramatic comparison of saying they're gonna find a 6-figure earner.
Good luck.
So that's why I made that. That's why I made that dramatical comparison to put it something that's so far fetched, that's out of reach, and women will sit around and wait to say, "I'm gonna get a 6-figure earner," but yet you can't wait for marriage. But go on.
So, so one of the things that I hear, and I saw it in the chat pop up a couple of times, is that we need better, stronger role models, right? And I agree with that wholeheartedly. But the problem I see there is if we have a culture that's, that in some people's eyes is full of like just deprived individuals, degradation, just people who are poor role models. Like look at the top 10 rappers right now. They're talking about like doing Molly and they're doing all these other like horrible things, right? And that's who our kids are looking up to. And yes, those are bad role models. My question is, how do we create better role models when the role models that exist aren't good role models? And I have my own solution for that, and I want to present it and give you guys the opportunity to either agree with it and then expand upon it, or say I'm completely off my rocker and offer a different solution. Okay. So my solution to creating role models is coming of age rituals. Because back in like the ancient Spartan times, right? And this is extreme example. Your kid turned 13, you sent them out into the wild, and they had to come back with like the head of a wolf, or even better, come back with the head of a lion or something. They had to pass something that I'm not saying, we got to go send our kids off to go die, but I'm just saying, like, we need something that, like, that like, when this kid does something, yes, that kid is an adult man. That kid is an adult woman. They are capable of accepting the responsibilities that us as society will bestow upon them. And I heard Wally say yes. So my question to you is, what should that coming of age ritual be? Like, what are the things that need to be measured? What are the things that we need to look for in order to say that? And what is that, like, that say that, hey, this is the man, this is a woman now. What does that ritual look like? And if this is not the solution, then what is?
I'll chime in first. Okay. This is why I stress 2-parent household, whether you're married or not. 2-parent household. The reason why I say a 2-parent household is because the simple fact that when the one parent is tired and fatigued, the other one can jump in, because you're gonna have those moments. That's number one. Now, once you balance out this thing called life of raising a child, now you have more time to also focus on those fundamentals, the little things that the child needs, to not look for outside sources as far as a role model. And speaking to the child from when they're young, right and wrong, and you instill those things in that child, it's not even going to want to make them look in the direction of those negative things. Not to say that it's not going to work for everybody, but in my household, since a child, I raised the kids. This is bad. It's to the point now, if they watch something that's full with curses, they want no parts. Why is that? Because I had that help of raising the children where I didn't get that mental fatigue where it's like, you know what? I'm tired of these kids. Here, take your iPad, go in your room, shut up. I got my peace and quiet now.
So, but what is the coming of age test?
The coming of age test, which I'm going to get to, the coming of age test is, I'm going to teach you certain things, but there's also certain things that you're going to have to learn on your own. So if I feel that whatever this task is, like, I don't know, you could wind up, don't touch the stove because the stove is hot or whatever, this, that, and the third. But I'm still going to have you cook on said stove on your own, so to speak. Like, I'm going to teach you to show you the ropes, this, that, and the third, but I'm still going to make you do it on your own so that you do your mess ups. Come back to me now. We talk about, hey, this is where you went wrong, yada, yada. There's certain things that you need to do, like certain things with a child that you need to let them explore, mess up, or whatever the case may be. Now you come back, this is where you went wrong. I do that all the time with my kids. All the time. I could sit there and I'm watching them doing something and I'm like, yeah, this guy, this girl, they're definitely taking the hard way of doing XYZ. After they're done doing XYZ, that's when I'm like, okay, you see what you did? All that could have been avoided if you did XYZ. That's a teaching moment. Now it teaches them to look at things in different angles, different, from different perspectives. So that's pretty much my thing. Let them go out and do things. Let them go out and do things that is going to be a difficult task, but it's not going to be too much of a weight on their shoulders. And once they come back, because they're going to fail. You set them out there because they're set up to fail, but you just want to see how well they progress with that task. So and now that you come back,
so is there a specific
discussion?
So is there a specific task you would want them to see?
Yes, go get a job.
Yeah.
Okay.
Listen, you have to go get a job, hold this job down for X amount of years, and then you have your rite of passage, right? You have shown that you can hold down a job. You've learned whatever the heck parameters you want to put around that. That can be that. Or for those who are more affluent, go buy your first piece of real estate. Here's the whatever. You can do it that way. Or just like Robin said, you're talking about, a physical thing, but her rite of passage can be her period. That can be that, and y'all can you can have like a ritual with her because of that. Like, okay, we're going to go get your big stuff, blah 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 blah, and that can be whatever. Erica, you going to get a chance to talk about it? Wait. I'm finished. So, but what I'm saying, as far as the man is concerned, because he's supposed to be the provider, because he is supposed to be the protector, we can structure that any way we like. We really can. It could be anything. It could be make your first $1 million, and that's how you show that you're a man. And if you can't come in this house until you made your first $1 million. It could be whatever. It's entirely up to how we.
It could be something as simple as, yo, my tire's flat. Go change the tire.
It could be as simple as that. You know what I'm saying? Because you have you have learned, you can troubleshoot. We know that you can problem solve. We know that you can use your brain. You know how to use tools. You know how to use your hands. There are so many great things with that. You give a kid a Rector set and then take away his technology. He will come back with amazing things.
Yep. Yeah.
Now go ahead, Erica. What you had to say?
Well, okay. So the rebuttal on my end is it's hard to measure that. The reason it's hard to measure that is because you got kids that go get jobs at 14 years old. The problem is that job may not be able to substantiate their lifestyle. So are they gaining the skills to get to adulthood? Yes. But not always is that first job going to be the one to get you there. I like that I think it was Robin, possibly. I like when she said that, but guess what? You got kids that get their monthlies at 8 years old now. So I can't.
Yeah, but that doesn't. Wait a minute, but that doesn't change anything. She still had that's her rite of passage.
Correct.
That's still her right. So, okay, baby, you can now have children. You can now get pregnant. So, because of that, we're going to take you through this journey, whatever journey y'all choose to fix.
Well, and that's what I was going to say, though. That's the problem, though. I still need you to be able to gain the skills, yes, but I also need you to be able to do certain things before I say, hey, you're at that stage. Because for me, like, yes, that rite of passage for having your monthly is different. Some people can have it at 8. Some people can have it at 16. I'm not going to have the same conversation at 8 that I'm going to have with the 16-year-old. At least not there, because I need that child to be mature enough to be able to handle those conversations.
I don't think she has a choice. She has a period.
You do have a choice, because I need you to stay a child as long as possible, too. So, yes,
by bleeding every month.
I will explain what that is. Yes, because I'm the type of parent, I'm telling you everything. I'm not sugarcoating nothing. But
which means she's wise, which means she's
a part of the rite of passage. That's the part of the rite of passage.
If you have to explain that, right? She has no other choice, because now she has to be responsible for her body. She has to now know how to cleanse herself. She has to know how to make sure she keep herself not odor problem.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? There's so much that she has to deal with.
But like I said, that's the building blocks to get to that stage. So that's the starting conversation. But for me, no, it's not the end all. You're an adult at this point. That's the lead up to adulthood. Because like I said, I like the fact that you said about that job, but guess what? I had a job at 14. I couldn't financially sustain myself, but I gained skills from that job that translated to the other jobs
But
that got
Now,
but your
listen, wait a minute.
parents saw that as a go ahead.
This okay. What I'm the beauty of this is not about the ability to take care of yourself and staying on your own 2 feet. It's
There you
about
go.
the past. Is about saying I am now a able adult.
correct.
I
And that's what
may
I said.
not be able to stand on my own, but I am now able. I'm not kicking you out because you know what I'm saying. Well, you
Correct,
got a
and that's what I'm
job, and I
saying.
know you're making $16,000 a year,
See,
so I'm gonna no.
You
No,
It's
no,
like
but
you
and that's what I
you
said.
getting
Those
you
are
getting
the
a
stepping
job.
stones to get there.
You getting a job is basically, and maintaining it is letting that parent know I can trust you. You're
Correct.
you can
And
showing me
stick to
responsibility.
something.
correct.
It
And
has
that's
nothing to do with the job being able to carry. Because yeah, of course it's not going to be able to carry you. We're talking about the right to passage for a parent to the child.
correct. And that's what I said. Those all of those things lead up to that. Hey, you got that rite of passage because you're right. For on a girl's end, you got to go through that monthly. That's step 1. Then going to go get that first job. That's step 2. So for me, it's you got to add all of that stuff together. I need to be able to know you can cook for yourself on my end because guess what? If you ain't got that job to bring in money, that means you need to be able to utilize your resources too. People gonna be mad. I
Let-
might tell you, hey, go out there and
let-
go get you some seeds. Like it depends on what you're doing. But that's
let-
for me, it's you got to be able to cook something. It could be the most basic stuff, even if it's oodles and noodles. At least I know you ain't going out there and you about to starve yourself. Like
let me
those are
ask
all extra things that go into that rite of passage for me.
let me ask a question, because are you guys saying that her getting like child getting her menstrual cycle is the right to passage? Because for me, her getting the menstrual cycle is one thing. The right to passage for me is, now that you have your menstrual cycle, you then wind up getting pregnant as a teenager. Or you get what I'm saying? Like, your right to passage to me is you showed responsibility of not getting pregnant now that you're able to, bear children, so to speak. So are we just saying that her getting her period is her right to passage right then and there? Or like, is it levels to it? Like,
Well, and
I
that's
need
what
to understand
But
this.
that's what I was saying. For me, it's levels to it. Because yes,
Hmm.
some people do think you're an adult once you cross that stage. Because Gary is right. Once that child gets her monthly, she could have a child. But for me, no, I'm not saying that is the right to passage. That is the stepstone to get to passage. Because in my mind, I feel like you need to know a few more other things before I'd be like, okay, go ahead and live your life. Because think about it, you
Now,
got 18-year-olds who don't have that right to passage
now
because
what would
people didn't
you
give them those skills early enough.
now what would you clarify as a rite of passage for your daughters? Start there.
Okay, so for my daughters, there's a few things. Yes, I need you to be responsible. That means getting that job to know that you are gaining some kind of skills. I want them to have some kind of education because not saying they have to go to college and all of that stuff, but you got to do something. For me, it's you pick school, fine. You pick the military, fine. You pick a trade, fine. I'm okay with all of those options. It needs to be your choice. I will give you all of the tools to get to that point. You figure out what kind of life you want to have.
What? Are you serious? No one told me about pregnancy? Bruh.
Okay,
You
so
know,
Is it contagious?
but
yeah.
I don't
Wow.
want to catch pregnancy.
I'm gonna tell you this because she's not always wrong. They don't give you the full picture about pregnancy. They give you this is what happens when you have sex. You can get pregnant or you can get an STD. A lot of people shy away from that. If you don't have a family that feels comfortable having those conversations, you get a whole slew of people who don't. I watch
And
enough TV shows to know that some of these kids didn't know just that one time can get them pregnant.
and I love what Toya said, because this is like, she's spot on with it. That's why you need both parents, because you can give, like, the woman can give her daughter her perspective, but you need the dad to give the perspective on the other side.
Correct.
Also, because your knowledge can only go but so far. Just like if I'm talking to my daughter, my knowledge can only go but so far. She need that yin to the yang. So you definitely need those things. But for me, my rite to passage would be like for me to say, okay, you now acquired the right to passage. You need to be able to do all the things that is required of you without asking, and honesty and communication.
Mm.
If you show me that you can do those three things, if you know every day you get up, check the dishwasher, sweep the floors, do this, make sure you make up your bed, you do all these things, like just the basic necessities or whatever that you're supposed to do every single day, then you're not lying, you're being truthful, whatever, and then communicating. And this is something that's going on a consistent basis, day in and day out. Now that means that you're willing to handle your responsibilities out in the real world because you're handling your responsibilities in this house after you was taught your responsibilities. And now I don't even have to ask you to do your responsibilities. You know to do it. And you're
Okay.
honest.
Okay, so this is what I want to say. The beauty of this conversation is that it's showing how different we think as
Yes.
men and women.
Mhm.
Okay. Listen to how Erica explained her version of whatever question we had and
Mhm.
how we did. All right. This tells you we need both parents.
Facts.
We need both parents because I would have never thought the way Erica did. And I'm married and I still wouldn't have thought that way. Understand?
Correct.
So
Mhm.
we need both parents for this because there are certain things that I'm just not going to think of, right? I probably would have had that goofy cockamamie conversation with my daughter. Yeah, you can get pregnant and get STDs. Don't mess up. You know what I'm saying? Like
Very
you know,
basic
like,
and minimum, you know.
just straight in there because I would say the same thing to my boys. Yo, you get a woman pregnant, you can't bring it here. That's it.
Yeah.
Not wrong. You are
I'm
not
like,
wrong
you're
at
not
all.
wrong, but that's usually, think about it though. That's usually the conversation that dads go to. My dad had the same conversation with me 30 years ago, damn near.
Mm.
But that's the thing. When you look at it, it's like, hey, I got to fix the problem before it happens.
See,
So
nah,
that was
my-
the conversation.
My parents was, you get her pregnant, you marrying her.
Well, your
that was it.
situation was
That
different.
was it.
Your dad was the pastor. So
But
of
still,
course the logic
no,
is
but
you get
no,
her pregnant, you marry.
No, it was not a pastor thing. It was a Haitian cultural thing.
Okay.
My cousins and family members wasn't pastors, this, that, and the third. If you was Haitian growing up in my parents' generation, you get a woman pregnant, you getting married. Plain and
Correct.
simple. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. So you better
Mm.
pick whoever you having a kid with, you better pick the right person.
I get
Because
that.
if
My
you ain't gonna
parents
get
were-
married, get your cheeks out of my house. Deuces.
Yep.
Correct. My grandparents were the same way. My parents got married. They popped up pregnant. That's what you did.
Yep.
Because that was what that era did. The problem now is this era is looking at marriage like it's a death sentence. So when you look at marriage like a death sentence, what do you think's going to be the reaction? You're
But
going to have a whole bunch of people that's trying to figure out, how do we figure this thing out where I don't even want to talk to you? Like, that's why.
I want to
Question.
ask Rex a question. Rex,
Wait,
how is it in
quick,
your
quick question
Okay.
for Erica P first, and then I'll get to you, Wally. Sorry.
Yeah.
Are they looking at marriage like a death sentence? Or are they looking at pair bonding like a death sentence?
Well, see, it's weird. I have single friends with kids. You have some that clearly say off the rip they never wanted to be married. But they also never said one way or the other if they wanted to have a kid or not. They just slipped up with a kid.
But
So
what they
that's the thing. It's like you
But-
had the kid, but you never really said if you wanted to be married or not. And now it's like, hey, I got this kid. I got to raise it anyway because the kid got to get raised.
but
Right.
but would they be okay with pair bonding, meaning like spending the rest of their life with one other person without signing that piece of paper?
I don't know. I don't have too many single people that are living together, raising kids together for that kind of question.
So the reason I asked that is because there are a lot of people who don't believe in marriage anymore, and I'm one of them.
Mhm.
Not because I don't believe in forming a bond with someone else. I would love to meet the woman of my dreams, spend the rest of my life together, but I just don't want the government to be involved in my marriage. I don't want if something
Which is
happens,
fine.
you know,
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
want the
I
government to
Yeah, I
agree.
tell
totally
you, you know.
understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm okay
pair-
with that.
See,
I'm
I'm
okay
good
with
with
that. But
pair
the problem
bonding.
is, I don't have too many examples of that. The problem is when you start
Mhm.
talking to the people that are single, raising, a lot of times it's them by themselves.
And my thing is, I'm not even mad if you're a single parent and you get with another, like you find a man that's not the child's biological father. It's the fact of having the two dynamics of a man and a woman teaching that child the yin and the yang. That's what it comes down to. So it's not people will listen and be like, "Oh, he's stuck on marriage." Well, it's about the pair bonding for that child because you need a man and a woman in the house to teach both sides. That's just my opinion on it.
Well, let me say this because a lot of
Yeah.
people, and maybe this will help out a little bit because what Rex said was very strong. The
Mhm.
government being involved into your relationship is pretty problematic because it causes a lot
Yes.
of rifts, right? So, if we can go to the biblical text about marriage, two become one, okay? Two become one flesh. Two become one having a child. The
Mhm.
marriage is the child. It is not a piece of paper. It's not how
Yes.
if we live in the same house, the marriage is the kid. So if you have a kid with someone, you are married to that person through the child. Two become one. So I think we need to change the way we think about marriage because the government got our thinking wrong.
Yeah.
All right.
That's true.
If
That
we come
preach,
together,
brother. Preach.
you can't be sitting here saying, oh, well, this is my child. Sorry, that's our child. That's our covenant. That's our marriage. So
Mhm.
even though you and I are not together, I am here to support you with our marriage, which is the child. What do our child need? So if we look at it that way, I think it might change the whole dynamic of how we interact. What do you
Preach,
think?
brother. Preach. Preach.
Yeah, I agree with you
Preach.
on that because
That's
you do.
yo.
You got a good portion of women that say my child. They do. And a lot of times they cut out the other parent because they don't want to have to deal with
Mhm.
the other parent's reaction to certain things. And I
They
think
want full
that's the big
control. Full
oh, that's what I was
control.
gonna say.
Yeah.
It's a control issue. And at that point, it's we had this kid because guess what? If you were the only one in control, we wouldn't have had the kid. You wouldn't have. So I think that's the biggest thing now. It's like, hey, we need to bridge this gap. We know the kid needs both of us. We need to figure out how do we take the emotions out if we are not together to do what's best for this kid so that yes, they could be a productive member of society later on. Because the problem is, think about it. If you're raising a kid, boy or girl, doesn't matter. But if they got mommy issues or daddy issues and it's unresolved and they don't figure that out early enough in life, it's going to damage every relationship they have going forward.
Mhm.
Here's a question that I have, Rex. And I know for a fact you're like, yo, you identify as American and everything like that. But as far as like the Chinese culture, is it acceptable having children out of marriage,
Good question.
or is it or is like do the women get shunned? Like what's like how is it? Is it different now as it was back then? Like how is it? How's that dynamic?
You get exiled from the family. If you're
Exiled.
Yes, if the Chinese family is traditional, like very traditional, and if you
Mhm.
have a kid, not just outside of not just outside of marriage, but outside of your race, like you get excommunicated. Like you're no longer part of the family. You don't exist. The kid doesn't exist. They don't care who the girl is or whatever. It can be like the most beautiful, smart, and intelligent woman in the world. Like I can have a kid with I don't know, like Megan Fox. My dad's and if my dad were traditional, he'd be like, nope, get out of here. You know, most of the dads would be like, yeah, you nailed Megan Fox. You go, you. But nah, like Chinese families, like no,
And you know,
you're not part of this family anymore. You're like off of the estate. You're off of any inheritance. You're like don't even like you're off of our phone books. Gone.
and you know what? In Haiti, it's kind of the same way. Other cultures, like that's how they look at it. They look at it as no, you stick to what you know because that keeps the history intact, all of that stuff. So I think it's a cultural thing when it comes to other countries. No
Because like,
disrespect to
because like in the
That
Chinese
stinks,
in Chinese
man.
families, like whenever people get married, it's not an individual thing. It's not between me and my wife. It's my family needs to meet your family. They need to agree
Mhm.
that this is a good family and that's a good family. We're good families
Mhm.
together. If anything were to happen, the families can work together. What kind of jobs do they have? How many people have you excommunicated from your family? Oh, you excommunicated three of your sons. Why'd you do that? Well, I don't want to bring my family into yours anymore. This marriage is off. And I, as an individual, I got two choices. I can either say, F you, I love this woman, I'm running off with her, and then you guys, but I'm not a part of your family anymore. Or I could be like,
Mhm.
no, my family is tremendously important to me. I gotta stick with my family. 99 times out of 100, that's what happens. So like
What if I have a bajillion dollars though?
A lot
What
of
if I'm
times
like
it don't matter.
crazy
It don't
rich?
matter.
It don't
It
matter.
doesn't matter.
Yeah,
It's
it don't
Dang.
matter.
it's not about
a
the
lot of
money.
times
It's about
you're
the values that your family has. If your family
Yes.
has like $1 billion, but you guys have really shitty morals, like no, I don't want your family any part of mine because when I hand my daughter off to you, you have to pay. You're paying, you as the family that's accepting my daughter has to pay my family $50,000, right? That's a thing in Chinese culture. It's called
it's the
buying.
dowry.
Yeah, the dowry.
Oh, okay,
You're-
okay.
And
you're-
you and,
you're
and
essentially buying my daughter. But I want to make sure that if I'm giving you my daughter, that like you're not going to sell her off
she's in
into
good
slavery,
hands.
that she's in good hands. I want to know that you're going to take care of her because I'm no longer going to take care of her. I'm trusting you to. And this 50 grand is kind of saying like, hey man, like your daughter is worth this giant chunk of change to my family, and we're willing to accept that level of risk. It's a huge transaction.
I don't.
See,
I mean, it's kind of not a level of risk. I just gave you 50 G's to get some cooch. Like, are you
yeah,
serious?
Yeah,
but
but you
but
gotta
see,
think about it though. And
but
and all of the other countries other than Western type countries that still exist to this day.
but
Yeah.
see, you know why I respect that though? Because that means that these group of people don't sell out for money. Their
Mm.
morals are more important than money. And that's one of
Mm.
the biggest things
That's
that
true.
is affecting Black America. Because even the
I can
Asian
see that.
community, when it came to movies with them stereotyping, Asians in movies, they said, we're not taking this crap. We're gonna go make our own movies. We're not gonna play these certain roles in movies, whatever. Am I off with that, Rex?
No, not at all.
Exactly.
Hong Kong has
Ex-
produced some of like the greatest blockbusters in movie history.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Their moral compass is more important than selling out for money. And
To an
I
extent.
respect that. to an extent. But
Because there's
what I'm,
there's a lot of bad things about Chinese culture as well.
of course. But what I'm saying is for Black America, most people sell out for money and a dime. Like yo, it is what it is. Like it is what it is.
That's
So,
because we're broke.
yeah.
That's because we're broke. Like we don't have
Yeah.
anything, so it's like
Yeah.
we don't have anything to barter with.
You say that, Gary,
See,
but
I
among
don't
the-
think we're
among-
broke. I don't think we're broke because we're the biggest spenders.
you say that.
That
Gary,
means we're
but-
broke.
Gary, you say that Black culture is broke.
We
but at the
spend
same-
everything. We're broke.
But at the same time, the Black community is tied with the Asian community for the most amount of millionaires in America, and it's in second place. White people are in first place, but Asians and Blacks are fighting for the second place nonstop, and every year we take it from each other.
The problem, but you have to think about it culturally. Culturally, Asians give back to their community. They foster their community with their millionaires. The Blacks, unfortunately, they give back to a selected group, and that's it. So they're not fostering other generations of Blacks to come up with them.
Well, the difference I would say there is that the incentives for Asians to take care of each other is much stronger because of the culture that
Mhm.
Asians have.
Correct.
And I'm not going to say Black culture. I'm going to say lower income culture, because there's lower income Asians, Blacks, and Hispanics, and
Yeah,
etc.
yes,
In lower
yes,
income
I agree with
cultures, the incentives to take care of one another isn't strong because everybody is so fast to just stab each other in the back.
Yeah.
When
The
you see,
the
when you see,
distrust is like crazy.
yeah, because I know a lot of black millionaires, and they all take care of each other. Like they're all like Black millionaires with each other first before everyone else. But they're not taking care of the broke Black people though. They're taking care of like the other Black people that have money.
You
So
know what happens?
It's not a Black thing. It's just a income level thing.
And the way it goes, and the way it goes in the with the lower income community is you find a group of selective people that you can trust to build that wealth, and once you build that wealth, you stick with that what you know.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not going back to Irvington to go build, a rec center there because they're gonna wreck it. So you kind
They're
of
gonna
like
wreck it.
the person you build with, the group of people you build with, is so it
Is
it
that
is
we-
what
and
it
now-
is. That's
now-
how
now-
it go.
Now that is where everything starts to come into
Mhm.
play, because now we're looking at kingdom building, right? That's what we're looking at. This is all talking about, right?
Mhm.
Now, am I going to be on some like you can't come in because you're Chinese and you can't come in because you Hindu and you can't? I don't think I'm gonna do that. I don't know if that's a wise decision, because it seems like it don't really. I don't know. It's just a whole lot of broke people that can benefit from other broke people that know some stuff. So I think that I think we should start looking into building that community in our own right. We can't do it in Irvington. We can't do it in we can't do it in Chicago. There's certain places we just cannot do it. But there's plenty of land in America, plenty of states to choose from where we can go ahead and build this stuff and take all the information that we're talking about on this channel and other channels as well, and just utilize that information to prepare ourselves, just like Erica P said. Rex said, the community, put the community together and start building out, raising our own children based on our own moral code thing.
Mhm. Yeah. Basically, you're investing in your community.
I'm investing in my community. Yeah.
But think about it though. That's why when people go and buy their homes or where they looking to rent it, they're looking for areas that have some kind of resignation for them. If I know my kids swim and play soccer and all of this stuff, what am I going to do? I'm trying to move into an area that's tailored to that type of stuff. Or if that's not the case, The other thing is I start building that stuff in my community. So if I can't find a community that I can afford with all of the stuff that I want my kids to do, that's when we start building those communities. You start talking to the other parent. Hey, we ain't got a little league. You want to start a little league? Okay, what do we need to do? That's what you have to start doing at this point. Because you're right. If you have that community, that's when all of the kids play. Because they'll be able to see other things other than what's happening in the lower income area. Now you didn't
which
lower income area to at least the working class area.
which goes full circle to the base of this conversation, which is working with others, right? So as a parent, you have to work with the other half that created your children.
Agree.
That's what it comes down to.
We agree.
Working together,
Yeah.
making it work.
So yeah,
But-
so
I will say this. Based on the first video that with the gentleman who was saying, yo, it sucks being a good man or whatever, this, that, and the third. My advice to brothers like him is, regardless how tough it is, do not give up, because your child would not want you to give up on them. Fight tooth and nails. I know it's going to take time, even if you can't do it like around the clock. Whatever free time that you have, put it into fighting for that child. And have a support system, whether it's family members, your boys, or whatever the case may be. Have them, yo, could you look into see what I could do to do XYZ? How I could fight to get custody? Everybody pitch in. Have that community, because I know you can't, you can do it alone, but why do it alone if you can have a support system? But please do not give up on your child, because if that child find out, or not even the child find out, if that mother put whatever in that child's head of you don't care about them, you gave up on them, this, that, and the third, that can psychologically affect that child in more ways than you can imagine. So
Dog slow
always
on that one.
fight for that child and never give up. That's where I stand with it. And the last thing, shout out to Robin. I know we had a little back and forth, but it's all out of love. I love having debates and, challenging. So it's nothing to be malicious or nothing like that. It's just, that's what we do on Matter of Opinion. We debate and stuff. So I love looking at, stuff like that and tackle it, because your rebuttals, I'll look at them and I'm like, okay, I didn't see it that way. So don't think it goes on deaf ears. It's just a conversation back and forth, me giving pushback so we can have a better understanding. Nothing more, nothing less. Appreciate you.
Well, I think that is the end of the live. We're going to go ahead and we're going to give Rex Wu some exiting words. Do you have anything going on with your channel?
Yeah. I actually wanted to talk to all three of you here. Actually, if you would all like to hop onto my podcast and have a nice little one-on-one conversation just about what it is that you guys do and how we can solve the world's problems sometime in the coming future. I mean,
is there a channel we can go to? Is there a channel lady?
Yes.
Channel stuff out.
YouTube.
There's a channel lady out there.
/Rex Wu.
Oh, is there a link already in the chat?
Of course,
already there.
Wow.
We should be going over to Rex Wu right now and going ahead and subscribing. There's some things that you do on your channel that's very interesting. Do you do anything like special finances, podcasts, interviews?
So pretty much, so the future of my channel, this point moving forward, is just is dedicated to having conversations with people who have something to teach me, which is pretty much every person on this planet. But the bigger part is just that because every single person is going through a struggle. Every single person has a story, and everybody has something of value to bring to the world, and I want to talk to those people, whether they're just individuals going through a struggle, and I'm capturing a moment in their life. Like, I had a conversation with my buddy on there, Bobby Martin, about 3 months ago. He just got shipped off to the army, and I was able to capture the pivoting point in his life, and it was deep, it was profound. And then there's some other people I just talked to about. He's an insurance broker. He's talking about the current insurance crisis. Because anybody who owns anything just realized their insurance shot up about 5x. Why did it happen? A lot of people, they don't know why these things happen, but because they don't know where to go. And I want to offer them a platform where they can just go, learn about the world, learn about how things work, and just gain different perspectives, and just show the power of conversation. Because like very much like what you do on your lives and what you guys do here is you guys bring people together. We have conversations, we build community, we bring people together. And if we're not conversing, if we're not connecting, if we're just relying on little screens to just tell us by text what's going on, that's not communicating. Communicating is speaking, asking questions, listening, growing. You don't have to agree with everybody, but if you come into a conversation with an open ear, open heart, and just listen, like, I don't have to agree with you, but I'm gonna respect your right to exist and your right to have an opinion. It may be a shitty opinion, but it's still your opinion to have. We might make the world a better place, because from where I stand, the real breakdown that happens in society is the breakdown of communication. And if you break down communication, you break down communities. And like we discussed earlier, community is one of the 3 most important parts of raising a family, building, raising children, building the world. You need a man, you need a woman, and you need a community. If you lose one of those 3, the other 2 fall apart. And that's all I got to say.
I thank you there, sir.
One thing, Rex, I need some more of the Rex in the car videos, man. I missed those videos. Them videos was definitely tough, man. Like,
I don't know if I'll be doing those, because just the amount of effort and time, the time it takes to create those, and I don't think the value is there, because I'm just a guy who gives my opinion in those videos, and I think there's just so much more value to be had through conversation versus me just dropping my opinion on random subjects.
Trust me, you would trust
I seriously doubt that.
Yeah, because when you speak in your open mind, you get a lot out, and you'll be surprised stuff that come out when you're just venting that is powerful.
I appreciate that.
You'll be surprised, man. Like, hell, I do it, Gary do it, Erica do it, where we just vent, and it's like,
how do you think we got so good at what we do?
Yes,
telling people off.
Yeah.
or somebody triggering me to the point of having to tell people off.
Right.
It's just in Wally.
All right, Wally P and Erica P, tell the people about your channel.
Ladies and gentlemen, Matter of Opinion, and that's the name of the channel. We basically take, random topics, whether it's the hottest thing on social media, news topics, it could be sports, whatever the case may be. We'll speak about those topics, we'll debate on them, try to find a resolution, but mainly we debate on them. We go at it, and as you can see on this podcast, hey, I like to challenge. I like to have the back and forth, because having that pushback from different perspectives will get people answers, or hopefully people will find answers through the dialogue that we give. So that's what you'll find on Matter of Opinion. It's a debate channel, and we go hard. So definitely check us out and subscribe to the channel. You're muted. You're muted.
I will say that is the end of the live. This is Gary Lamb saying thank you for coming. See you guys next week, same time, same channel. This is Gary Lamb signing off. You guys have a good one.